Fest.
Uh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Hopefully, you are having a good week. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup games. Hope you're enjoying it. The Kickers did not play Wednesday. We're just gonna take that game, put it in the Chattanooga spot along with everything else, and just forget about it. It didn't happen. And to help me forget about all of that is Mr. Matt Myers, who actually went to a World Cup game and, second one this year, and had a fantastic time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Soccer, World Cup soccer is good.
It is. It is. When you can afford it, it is good.
I'm afford it. That's a relative term.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Some people are taking out second mortgages, but it's okay.
Oh, there's this thing called credit cards.
This is true.
Yeah.
Please don't go on a bad day listening to this podcast. This is not a financial podcast. Please don't.
I'm just saying they exist. I didn't say use them. I didn't say not use them. Casinos are fun.
Somebody who needs to hit the lottery? The Kickers. And badly. I don't know if you heard the stat, Matt, but since our last win, we have given up 25 goals and scored 5.
I'm slightly surprised that we scored 5, but yeah, I guess Boise hooked us up with a few.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great times.
Yeah, great times. So look, we're not going to spend long talking about the Portland game because if we did, it would be nothing but negative. And we are here to turn another page. So all we are going to say about the Portland game is there were a lot of mistakes. Hopefully, who are the leaders in this group took somebody by the reins and there was some deep soul searching because there were a lot of mistakes. And that's about it. Anything else you want to add to that, Matt?
Hey, we broke out the Alta play again of just kick the ball along to Kirkland and have him inexplicably just power through a couple of guys and get a goal. So that play's worked twice now.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. The first half was fun.
I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but
it had hope. That's what I'm saying. It's the hope that kills you. But I mean, that's all that happened. And then they guys swiftly took it away like Christmas presents. You're a bad kid in the second half. I will say this, and this is something that stuck out to me, Matt. I don't know if you picked up on it, but after every goal, every goal Portland scored, the Kickers had a hand in it. I didn't see any players get mad. I didn't see any players trying to huddle, have a conversation. Even to the player that had the mistake, I didn't. And now, granted, the camera cut away as well, so it might have happened. The camera didn't pick up. But I don't remember any player going to another player and hey, get your head out the sand. It'll be all right. Come on, let's go. Did you see any of
that? No, but I wasn't looking for it either, so I'm not going to say it wasn't there in any way. A lot's gone on in the last 2 weeks. A lot, not even a lot. Pretty much everybody on this team is brought in by that last guy that was here, and he's gone now. So it's how many of them are really foresaw getting coached by Ownby this season. So I could see some guys being I don't know if I'm feeling it, how much I'm feeling this, right? They're not going to toss games or anything. We're not saying that by any means, but yeah, I don't know if you've ever had, a manager, at work that you liked leave. It can be a little, depressing at first, especially when you don't know what's coming in, next right behind them. Uh, you still do your job, but it's a little harder to get up for it,
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean, definitely, and that's why I definitely get this vibe from, especially given how much. Now, it wasn't a lot of optimism after the Fort Wayne game, but we left the Fort Wayne game with like, okay, there's something to build with here, right? And it felt as if going into the Portland game, especially after the first half, it felt as if, okay, if the Kickers can get out of Portland, say with a draw, there are building blocks to making this positive. The second half of that game, Portland game, just took all of that and just ruined it. Like it felt the equivalent of getting a birthday cake and you're allergic to chocolate and it's just a chocolate cake. And that's the only cake you can eat.
I
Like
thought you
that.
were just gonna say, get a birthday cake, but you're like celiac or
Yeah.
something. It's like, huh, okay, well, can't eat this.
Right. It just felt like it just left you with so many questions where it's like, where is this team's headed? Are these guys still competing? Like, are we going to go into a situation like it was last year where guys were obviously just in it for themselves and not worrying about the bigger context, right? You know, like, do these guys trust Brian Ownby? Does Brian Ownby trust these guys? And you just find yourself with so many more questions that you had answers for. It just felt as if, like, well, damn, like, here we're back in the cycle of 2018.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's entirely possible that happens again. You're
Yeah.
right, where, uh, yeah, might personally like the guy in the manager seat more, but not put in a position to succeed at all because the players aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
You probably the managerial experience definitely isn't there, like learning on the job, essentially. Uh, and it's not to say there couldn't be long term prospects, for Ownby, but it's kind of getting thrown into the fire. And it's one thing to get thrown into the fire when you've got a team that's over talented compared to the rest of the league. Like, we know that's not this
No.
team. So uh, yeah, there's could things turn around? Yes, but I think we have to be realistic that we might be in for a long next 3 or 4 months as well.
Yeah. And I will say it again. That was always my prevailing fear. And then granted, this is when Darren was still going to be in charge. My fear was that it was just going to be we're just stuck in limbo. We're stuck in limbo with a guy who has no managers, right? And that's no fault of his own. Like I don't put a lot of this on Ownby these last two games because we've always heard of the term like the managerial bounce, right? You get a new manager in, new ideas, the team takes an uptick in form, right? They feel juvenated. I put it on the players, like flat out, because it's individual mistakes that are killing this team. Like tactics and coaching can only get you but so far. And it's true in any other sport, and it's true in soccer. Like every other sport, you can take a timeout, you can slow down momentum. Like just go back and look at the finals, right? The Spurs go on a run, Mike Brown takes a timeout, gets the Knicks straight, they come back, right? In soccer, you can't do that. Now, FIFA would love for you to take, hydration breaks or ad breaks. Which, by the way, Matt, did you boo the ad breaks or the hydration breaks when they happened at the World Cup?
No, what we booed, yesterday at the game was when they had the little chime come on, for the score update, and everybody
Uh,
saw that England scored because let's be real, nobody likes them. There's nothing to cheer about. The whole stadium was, uh, just depressed when that went up and booed it, and then when it became 2-0, more boos, for them. So especially appropriate, given that we've got July 4th, weekend coming up. Uh, Boo all things English.
there you go. There you go. But yeah, back to my point. Like, in this game, it's not like the manager can really influence things that happen in between the white lines once the game starts. Like he can put players in certain positions, but like players' effort have to show, like their ability to think on the go. In the last 2 games, man, it's been individual mistakes that have led to goals. Like 6 out of the 7 goals that we have given up have been because of individual mistakes. And you can't outcoach that, no matter what level coach you are.
Yeah. Well, I think there's levels to this too, though. Like
Yeah.
there's mistakes where it's like, oh, okay, maybe got caught ball watching, which is annoying,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's mistakes like Layton's, I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just a soft header, clearance basically to the penalty spot. Like, I think the more impressive piece is that, whatever the Portland's guy's name is, that he was able to get enough power off of that, to be able to head it in, because that's just a floater.
Yeah, I mean,
And then like, not sure what Beckett was trying to accomplish with his header. Like, great save by Jan to keep Beckett from getting an own goal, but like, what you doing there, bro?
yeah, it's individual mistakes, man, and it's just like I was telling you earlier, like it's a lack of confidence individually and in the team. It's if you go back and watch the 3-0 game against Greenville, it's a complete 180 to what this team is now, and it just felt as if after that Greenville game, there was just, and maybe Matt, this is the Union Omaha locker room moment where after that game and Darren probably made his decision to leave, guys just started to tank it. And maybe you can make that correlation because since that point, it has been piss poor.
Yeah, it's like, did getting beat by Charleston just really break them that badly?
I can't imagine that it did.
You wouldn't think so, but who knows?
Maybe.
I still maintain that it's just a lot of these guys aren't that good. And the whole talk was, oh, we've got all these guys who can be interchangeable with one another. Well, if you're just changing C minus for C minus, it's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, no. And I mean, like, I think there are some individual qualities here in the team, right? Now, the thing that I have my issue with Omby is just certain guys in certain positions. I made my feelings known on this, and I will make them known again. The Neil Surford center mid, just stop it. That's not. He don't have the instincts defensively. Like, I think it was the goal that we gave up in the Portland game, and you go back and look at a couple of games where he's played this role. He just doesn't have the mindset of tracking back and being defensive. Attacking wise, he's good, right? Like, if you put him in like a FC Naples or one of these other things where his main job is to attack, he will be good at that. I want to say great, but he'll be good at that. He doesn't have the defensive mindset of like on O'Malley, who Brian for some reason decided to put up top beside Kirkland in this game.
In fairness, that could be. Well, there's only like 15 adult healthy bodies, so
and that's fair.
Plug some stuff together,
and that is totally fair. That is totally fair. My thing is just flip the spots, right? Just flip the spots of those two. Allow Niels to be further up the field and allow O'Malley to be like, hey, just run around like a dog with your head cut off and just stop everything defensively. Right? Like that's my only issue with that. Outside of that, like it just really feels like it's on the players. Like it's not. These are the guys that Darren brought in that we were told at the beginning of the year, oh, they have an edge to them. Oh, they have the winning mentality. Oh, these guys are going to change the culture here. Oh, these guys are this. And since May, it's been anything but that. Right? We have suffered. I don't remember a stretch where this kicker team has been through where they have suffered as many heavyweight defeats as they have. We're talking about 2 5-goal losses, a 4-0 loss, two, and like, that's it. Like, just multiple losses like that.
Oh, yeah, you're going back to the fun 2018 season where we got our heads kicked in every weekend. But
Yeah,
that
yeah,
at least with that one, it was just an obvious pure talent deficiency.
yeah. And also, we knew this team was getting ready to go down.
Right.
We knew this team. There is no going down. You are down. You are down. Like, there's no down. And I'm not even gonna hate to say it. Call it what it is. You had a head coach that quit on this team, and I don't know if that has affected the locker room. And if you ask guys, they probably will say no. But let's be real. Like, you were making an analogy, Matt. If you had a manager who you really liked, or someone who brought you in who just left, because you would be like, well, what's the point of me staying here? Because something else that I was thinking about this weekend, and I brought it up in the Discord, I was like, how many of these guys truly have ties to Richmond? Outside of Dak, Beckett, Landon, James. Like, how many of these guys can we truly sit there and be like, yo, we are connected? Like, we know them. You know them as the player, but how many of us can say, like, we really know them? Because think about teams that have, and we have seen bad teams. 2019, right? That team was bad. But think about how connected some of us are to those guys. 2023, we're still cool with some of those guys. 2024, right? Even 2025. This team, it doesn't feel like it's that connection here that binds them together. And maybe some of that, once again, I will always stand on this. It comes from a top-down approach. If you have a leader who doesn't value building that relationship with fans, is going to bleed into the locker room. And when stuff hits the fan, it's going to be like, well, all right. Like, it's all lip service until we actually see it.
And the mercenary approach, it can work. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with it because realistically, no, I don't think any of us want a team full of all locals because there's just not enough talent, localized, to be able to make that, sustainable and work in any way. So yeah, obviously there's going to be guys coming in from all corners of the country, different countries, and that's cool. Some of the most beloved players that have played for the Kickers, came from very much not Central Virginia. So that's fine. And if you're winning, that can, kind of paper over a lot of, kind of problems, that come up. But when you're not winning, don't be surprised when, all of a sudden, the proverbial, guns get turned right on you because, are you laying it all out there? Are you, giving it your all? Because there's a lot of people, and fewer people than a few years ago, but still a lot of people, coming out and putting their presumably hard-earned money, essentially into your pockets to be able to watch you play a game and give the effort. Like, if you're not good enough, I don't love it, but can deal with that a little bit better than dogging it.
Yeah. Like, and also I would say this. Another thing that helped was like the 2019 team, and the reason why I bring it up because they're similar. Like, I feel like there's similarities. Like, the reason why we can somewhat bear that team is because of who the leader was, who was the head coach, right? He made it an effort to try to get this team, loved by the fans, right? To be there on their side, even though we weren't winning games like that. Yeah. There still was this sense of like, yo, we're in this together, right?
And I know he's not a popular guy among the the fan base, but I think even Spear was a big piece, of that. Like, we disagree with a lot of his, ideas, but I think the one that really worked was, yeah, he wanted to be able to really build this into a community club and was pushing hard to be able to, get guys out there, seeing, build the, connections, and yeah, it's definitely feels a lot more transactional in the last, couple of years, especially.
Yeah, and I guess this is where we can start talking about that mid-season part. But it just feels like right now things need to get back to, and this is the thing about Richmond that's very unique and different. My bad. From other clubs in USL League One, where other fan bases in USL League One, and this is no fault of their own, but they're newer. So a lot of these people who are going to games are going to be like, when you ask them, like, who's your favorite team? Is probably going to be a European team, then probably an MLS team, then probably USL League One, right? You have your diehards, who then eventually their League One team becomes their favorite team or their second favorite team, but not many. Here in Richmond, you're gonna find people whose favorite team is the Kickers. Like their team that they wake up for, the team they rep is the Kickers. Yourself included in that, Matt. Like,
Yep.
it is a different connection here because of what you. And this is something that I feel like we are missing is that we have a head coach that is on the fan side. And I'm not saying he has to be best friends, but understands that importance of like, yo, the fan base that we have here really cares about this community here. It really cares about this club here, right? And not saying it has to be all wins or whatever, because let's be realistic. This is third division soccer. Like, you're going to go through ups and downs. But to have a leader who understands that the fan base is important enough that you build that relationship with them. Because think about some of the best seasons that we had. It's when the head coach, the team, and the players are all gelled into one. 2022, 2021, 2020, 2016, 2015, 2014. Like, you had all three of those, and even front office, all four of those join the United. And what it just feels like now, it's fractured. And I don't know, and this is no fault of Ombi. I'm not blaming any of this on Ombi. I don't know if he is the one to bring it all back together. I will hope he is. And that might be a situation where you just have to ride out these 3-4 months, get these guys out the door, and bring in your own guys who know that culture building. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, he's being dealt a tough hand. Hard to say.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to building that connection. I think it even goes beyond the coach, right? Like, yeah, if you go to games, you know that unless an Ivy game's going on, like, Rob's there, he's accessible. Like, you can be able to find Camp. He'll talk to you. He'll tell you stuff. So, like, it's not necessarily that level that, like, oh, the front office is like disconnected, because yeah, some of those guys are incredibly visible, incredibly findable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
it's
I
not,
appreciate. I do.
yeah, and it's definitely not that. But let's be real, people don't care about front office guys. They
Yeah.
care about the players, and maybe a little bit about the coaching staff. They care about the players. They've done a good job of putting together these little, like, Instagram reels throughout the year with, like, the kind of the goofy little questions. So you've gotten to see a little bit of, like, Landon's personality, like Dak's personality on some of those. But there's a lot of these guys, like, I couldn't tell you the first thing about them other than what we were able to research about them when they first signed, right?
Yeah.
What happened, the times of just having the little player profiles that would come out in a written form during the year, or much less a little uh you know 5-minute YouTube interview with them. Like, and that's not like it's a distant past sort of thing. That was within the last 3 years that they were really working to be able to build those up. And yeah, it's how people got to know a guy like Emmy a little bit, more. A guy like Niels a little bit, more. Like some of these, guys who became characters,
Yeah.
essentially, rather than. Um, Hopefully, I'm using this term right because I know it's a young person term, but rather than just being like random NPCs out there.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels there's just this disconnect between like the players and the fans. And you know, like the 5-0 loss to Chattanooga, I can excuse it to an extent because of the circumstance and the field or whatever. But like,
I mean, you're
there's been
lying.
so many moments.
You're lying when you say that. We all know
Yeah,
that.
uh, there's been so many moments this year, man, where I'm just like, where's the fight at? Like, where is the cojones? Where is like, yo, we're not gonna allow this to happen, you know? And I've visited, like, I've seen it from Young. And there's certain guys, like Young, for instance, right? I've seen it from Young. But there's certain instances, man, where I just see our team give up goals and guys just like, okay, all right, let's keep going. Like, it doesn't bother them. And I get it. Like, fans, there's a reason why fans are called bananas. I understand. But I would just think, man, like, there would be something seated in me. Like, if I'm conceding goals or my teammates are just creating errors, conceding goals, to just be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, but I mean, hey, there's a reason why I'm not in that area.
Yeah.
But
I guess the last thing I want to say on
yeah,
this topic, because I think we're just starting to, kind of spiral here
yeah,
and
we're gonna
not
move
get
past close
much
this door.
farther. Uh, so after the game, you saw there's a lot of comments being left on Instagram, Facebook. I'm you know I'm deranged, so I obviously go and look and read those
Yeah,
sort of things, even though I never comment.
some comments are just all over the place.
Yeah, but so on the one hand, glad that people are engaged and glad that
Mm-hmm.
people have in the strong feeling. But some of our fans have got to be the stupidest people in the world. Like, oh, how could this happen? Something has to change. Did you not read all of the stuff that came out the week before, where something changed? It's called the coach left, which a lot of you have been asking for
Yeah,
for weeks and months, years.
yeah.
Even do you think everything's going to change immediately? Have you what are you paying attention, or do you just want to bitch and moan and bitch and moan? And I don't have a problem with bitch and moan. Like, refer back to stuff that's been happening in the last 5 years on this podcast. I'm not above that, by any means. Uh, but A, be informed, about it. But B, show up. Like, I can take if people are whining and moaning in the stands because you're showing up, you're there. It's when I see people who, A, only show up for the good times and then roll, themselves in. It's like, oh, this is unacceptable. And I know I haven't seen your ass at City Stadium in the last 3.5 years, except for a European friendly game. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you.
And with that, we will close that chapter. Matt, let's look ahead. Right, the Kickers have the second part of the season ahead of them. They have roughly, what would you say, like 17-ish games, 18-ish games.
Uh,
Who knows? It's some games left. But I want to ask you this: like, we have Sarasota coming on Friday, Greenville. Then we have the Henry Derby. Games coming up. If you're Brian Ownby right now, what is the focus that you're taking during this break right now to get this team back on track and get them competitive?
I think you take this break and you say, all right, Wednesday happened. Take your couple days off, whatever. It's obviously a league wide break right now, so there's
Mm-hmm.
it's probably mandated certain number of days away from the field.
Yeah.
Come back and this is a fresh start. Everything's up for grabs. Like maybe even our standout players like Jan, like it's up for grabs. James beats you out in training. If the kid beats y'all out in training, he's starting. every spot is available,
Mm-hmm.
and we're starting fresh. Those first 13 league games, in my eyes, they didn't happen, right now. And what better way to start off, especially for you guys who have been around, for more than one season, than be able to get one over on Mika and Chandler and uh, you know basically all the guys who bailed and didn't want to stick around here.
Yeah, yeah. I can't agree with you more. Like it just feels as if there's an ability now. Like, look, you gotta step away. We saw some guys take a couple of vacations. A couple of guys went to the beach, had a good time. Hope they enjoyed themselves. But when they come back, have a renewed energy. Let's put our best foot forward. Is a couple of prove-it games, right? Because let's be real, Matt. Like our every fan base rides the tides of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to tell you, let's just say Thursday, July 16th, the Richmond Kickers are got a win, a win and 2 draws. Would you take that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like I just what I don't want it to happen is, and this is why I'm bringing up 2018. I don't want it to be like our aim is to get into the playoffs because this right now is not a playoff team, right? I think right now Ombi's task is to get this team back on track, get them functional, and get them competitive in games. And by the end of August or the end of July, wherever this team is at, is where this team is at, and we can go from there. But you got to get this team back on track. We got to stop stop the bleeding of this run right now, and kind of build some goodwill back with the fan base and on the field, because that's what this team needs. Like I keep bringing up, the team is devoid of confidence, and the mistakes that are happening are all confidence mistakes. It's not mistakes that are happening because of a skill set issue. It's happening because guys aren't trusting those around them to help them out. So they try to do more than what they're supposed to, and then thus lead to mistakes. So that's why I hope Ombi can help with. The other thing I want to see, and we've been told that the front office is looking to bring in as assistant coaching, outside of just bringing in players, which I don't think is going to solve everything. I think that right now, I would love to see them bring in like a former head coach just to help Ombi with that experience, right? To help with this learning curve, right? That's what I would love to see, because I think like if you bring in someone who's a former head coach or like a high level assistant, I think that would help Ombi out a bunch. Because once again, Matt, and I feel like I have to remember this more so, like it's not his first year ever being a manager. This is his first year ever being an assistant.
Yeah, he was still a player last year.
Yeah. So now just to throw him into the head coach room and be like, figure it out, is like, it's the equivalent of taking like somebody fresh out of college and throwing them to a PhD course and be like, hey, figure it out. Like, head's gone.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about getting the former head coach. I don't know who these people are, that are floating out there who are going to come in for realistically probably a half season type of job. So I get the sentiment. I don't know how realistically feasible it is. Maybe it's somebody that Obi has had a relationship with in some way, shape, or form that comes in kind of more as a favor, almost that could be viable. I'd rather, all things being equal, I'd rather have fresh, better players and then a fresh, better assistant coach, but whatever.
I mean, yeah. Like, I would love to have both. And honestly, we can't have both. I think that is as much as a need as us getting outside backs, is getting midfielders, right? Like having someone on that bench who can tell Ombi, like, hey, look, you might want to adjust this, or you like think about it from this perspective versus than that perspective, right? Someone he could just kind of bounce ideas off of. Just to help him grow as a person. But I think the other thing too is like when you look at this kicker team, like there obviously are some bright spots. There are some good takeaways. Like Yonfalin, he's had a strong year. Kirkland, he looked decent so far. Anyone else stand out to you that's having a good year outside of those two?
Yeah, before he got hurt, I thought Ali Sasanko was
Yeah,
another
another big one.
kind of surprise standout. So it's hard to say much else is like truly a positive standout. Right now, Leighton started strong. He's kind of tailed off recently a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to say guys have been great when I don't think they've been great.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Like I do also look at Ollie's another reason. Like ever since he's been out this team, it's whoo. Yeah. 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 All right. You know what? Staying positive. Staying positive. Matt, just looking at things right now, like I mean, we talked about it before, like bringing in an outside back, bringing in midfielders. Tactically, are you liking what you're seeing from Ombi's tactics? Do you have any adjustments you want to see or anything like that, like the style of play or the tempo?
I mean, there's been no attack these two games really, so can't say I love it, but again, it could be the circumstance, just kind of leading into this because, yeah, first game, the Fort Wayne game, yeah, Dorado goes down, Espinal goes down, and all of a sudden, it was already a pretty toothless attack, lost, almost everything else that it had to offer. I mean, there's not much going, up there right now, so it's hard for me to fully say, yeah, this is great. This is some great stuff that he put out there, and it was just the defense losing their mind that cost us. It's not really what happened,
Yeah.
but I'm open to see how this evolves.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, look, we got Sarasota, like I said again on Friday, right before the 4th of July weekend. This is supposed to be the Darren Proving game, but it feels like it's the players Proving game. What if we talk about Sarasota? We know they have a couple of former Kickers players, 4 to be exact. How do you think Ombi approaches his game, and how does he get a result out of this?
I honestly have no idea what his plan is going to be because again, there's just not enough data. We saw 2 games in 4 days, and we couldn't even fill out a full bench. We had to dip deep into the academy pool to be able to have that even. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother to speculate because I just don't know where to start with that for this circumstance.
No, me neither. I want to say lean into defense, but the defense has been so poor. I think honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, Matt. Attack, just attack with reckless abandon. Like just go. Like you got nothing to lose at this point. It's not like this defense has been sturdy and solidified. I think the defense has been so punch drunk that any mistake is going to break them. So the only way how to counter that is the attack and go. And if let's say if Omi is going to stick with his 3 in the back, I think it's overloading the wings and attacking down those and putting pressure on Sarasota's back end. And force them into mistakes. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm going to try my hardest to be there Friday. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Friday's going to be a cool game. It's going to be cool regardless. There will be some former kickers in the building, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So it'd be nice.
Find a way to get it done for this one.
Right. Hey, I can live with that. And then we get an extra day of rest before we go to Greenville, and then it's that team, Matt. It's that pink team. It's that pink.
It's so far down the road right now, not even on the radar yet.
It's gonna be so weird. All right. Once again, listeners, sorry these podcasts hasn't been super positive, but it's just reflective of the mood right now of the club, of the things that we've seen on the field, the results. Trust me, we are trying our hardest to bring you the energy that we normally do, but we got to be real. We got to talk about the stuff that we see.
I did a great job yesterday, being positive, because I saw, walking out of the stadium, a guy, one of those, ugly, blue and green striped, Portland shirts. I didn't try to kick him or anything.
There you go, Matt.
And then later on that evening, as we were leaving bars at midnight, way later than I should be out at this point in my life. See some other guy just on the streets of Philadelphia, smoking up, wearing that ugly ass, orange camo, shirt they got going. I'm like, you really? Really? We're doing this here?
But hey, Matt, the kickers are global because you've been pointed out a couple of times.
Yeah. It's all everybody wants to talk about. You go to games, you wear your kickers gear, people will notice, people will shout it out. Apparently there was somebody else there too, because one guy said, "Oh, that's a second Richmond shirt I've seen." And I'm like, there's another one of us here?
There's more than one?
So rock on to us.
Hey, there you go.
Most important team in the world.
Right. Regardless of what's going on in the world, just remember, everywhere you go, the kickers are gold. Clickers are gold. So with all that being said, folks, we just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day for listening to our show. Without you, we couldn't do this. We wouldn't want to do this. So thank you so much for listening to our show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening to. Enjoy the break. It's a game Friday. We're going to enjoy it. You enjoy it as well. And then we'll go from there. Remember, just take it a game at a time. A game at a time. So with all that being said, be easy and be safe. We'll see you guys next week.